capital letters, ban, well in Korean, ban Skarner, and then it's circled
Yeah.
and underlined.
Yep. And then
a
there's
star
nothing else
around it.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's a few doodles, like pictures of Kingin or something like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kingin, here's Rumble. He's going to hit the deck. Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, it looks like they've nailed the phase strategy.
All right, and now we're going to see a big pause because we don't know what to do from here. All of our notes have been concluded, and it's sorted out. And wait, it is a big pause. It's hilarious. Callistus does still need to be looked at, though, and it's a bit more of a flexible ban, I guess, at the end, unless the Varus is banned, in which case you have to ban Ashe, right? Something like that?
Typically, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit dangerous to give it open. We've often seen the Varus and Ashe banned in tandem, but you know, I'm not sure specifically. I mean, maybe if there's something that you're concerned about, like the Vi, but we've seen Vi not be as on form recently, and it looks like we're just going to go for the Ashe. Yep. Sante's going to come through. Also pick, we see banned a lot and picked a lot early on. I could see Kingen picking a carry into it, but doesn't necessarily need to pick it right now. But I think Kingen has been really popping off when he's on these carry picks, so, you know, if he's feeling confident...
Just Ambessa. Just go.
Oh, yeah.
Lock it in straight away.
Well, we'll look towards the vibe. It kind of feels like that thing, especially in the first game, when, you know, we have fearless, but you have the picks that get banned, and then you have the picks that often get banned, but then when they don't, they just immediately get snapped up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're seeing.
By certainly one of those. And we'll see what Gideon decides to go for. Aurora up and available certainly has been pretty powerful. And if you were watching closer, then yeah, she is absurd.
Yeah, a lot of potential with the champion. Technically a flex, although often seeing it mid at the moment.
Yeah, and when we do see it top, it's not as impactful as it used to be last year.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, you could play it bot, but...
Oh, yeah, true.
That. Maokai going to come through from Peanut, which, if you remember, last year in summer, I had like an insane win streak on this champion, and Zeke got the Yone. That's actually something, you know what, I'm going to say it, I missed, because typically we've just seen Yone permaban and HLE because they have two great Yone players.
Yeah.
And one of them's got it.
Yeah, and we saw this in our last series. We'll see whether Fisher can do another closer performance, as that Ambessa we were talking about is going to be locked in for Kingen. So we're going to have some brawlers on the map here to start this one off. I'm actually really liking it as far as just making sure we see a lot of fights and things like this. Not a whole lot of range being put into this one outside of, I guess, the Aurora.
A lot of dive. I think if I was Nongshim, I'd be looking at picks like Ezreal, like Xayah. They're taking the Ezreal out. I think the Xayah makes sense as well. I mean, I know we've talked about Xayah sometimes has shortcomings when you have like multiple layered engages, so she can obviously, you can't ult all them, but into a Vi in particular, I think it'd be safer just to take it out off the way, especially like a defensive peel back comp with a Maokai as well, very strong.
I would agree. I think Viper's probably looking for something like a Ziggs or a Kai'Sa as well. The Ezreal, I do really like that one as getting rid of some of these more comfortable options. And with Maokai, he does do some magic damage, Yone mixed damage, blah, 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 all those arguments, but still think that like Ziggs Kai'Sa is so strong in this instance for Viper.
I mean, Kai'Sa works so well because of the flexibility and sort of damage profile, but also, you know, you can build Zhonya's for free and not really have to worry about it.
Oh, wait, Jiu can just pick Kai'Sa himself.
Yeah, he could. Could end up seeing... You know, we've talked a lot about Kai'Sa Xayah and the matchup. Could end up being that matchup here. Especially if you have Delight, who obviously loves Rakan.
True.
Jinx can get taken away, eliminating some of that range, long-range potential in the teamfight reset. That's one thing, like the immediate impact of the teamfights from Nongshim is very much known. We can see that right now. But momentum in these fights can be a big blocker when you have this tanky front line. And they do go for the Kai'Sa, as you said. And it looks like it is going to be the Xayah in return. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's just Xayah Rakan.
Yeah, I think if you've got Delight, you may as well put him on one of his best champions. They've already banned away the Leona, which can have a decent matchup into it. But also, I imagine the Leona was just banned because Lehens really loves the champion. So Viper is still hovering it, though. We'll see whether they do move to something else. I was just hoping, for some reason, for him to pick Kog'Maw. Just would have been fun. Don't know why, just did.
Would have been neat.
Yeah, it would have been neat. You know how there's just like, sometimes you just get that vibe where like, oh, I just want this champion here. And Viper would play it. Anyway, Delight still just trying to find the Rakan button. Instead, finds the Poppy one, and is going to be able to lock that one in. Steadfast Presence can be very frustrating for a Kai'Sa, so you can understand it.
Yeah, good into Vi as well. Decent at mitigating Nautilus, and just very tanky early on, especially compared to the Nautilus. So I feel like HLE, a lot of defensive tools in their composition to kind of protect Viper. He did go deathless in their last series. You have Zeka on Yone, you have Peanut on Maokai. I feel like they got a lot of power, a lot of comfort. But
did Peanut lose on Maokai towards the end of last year, or has he just remained undefeated for like forever?
I'm pretty sure he did in playoffs. I'm pretty sure there was, because I think it did happen in playoffs. It got left open, they lost. But obviously they won the whole of playoffs, so I think with
yeah, I think you make that sacrifice, but it's a fun stat if he's still just that many games in a row without a loss. It would be kind of insane.
Yeah, I mean, this very much seems like one team has a lot of peel tools, a lot of defensive tools, and the other team is just dive, 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 kill, kill, kill. So it'll be fun to see them interact. I do think that HLE have given themselves some good tools to mitigate. It kind of feels like playing Vi into Maokai Poppy does not sound fun at all. And neither does playing. Wow.
Look at those oranges. That's amazing. They're the ones that are about to get crushed by a raccoon, right? With his bare hand.
With his bare hand,
yeah.
As opposed to his normal raccoon hand.
Yeah, straight into the paw. Unless they can escape it, and utilizing a draft like this, I think they should be able to avoid the bear crush. We'll just see, because Nongshim have also got themselves a fair bit of power. That's mid lane Ambassador as well, which is kind of fun. Is it? Whew, let's jump into the rift. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, if it is the Ambessa mid,
it is,
then I like it a whole lot more. You mentioned, that Aurora can be flexed. We haven't seen it find as much success on the top side. Into a Cassante, I imagine that you're kind of feeling okay about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. We have seen Fisher play even the Neferi before in the mid lane, so definitely not unfamiliar to like these AD mids, but we kind of just had a textbook demonstration of how Aurora can dominate Yone mid lane by closer.
So it's more just saving the Ambessa matchup? Maybe the matchup... Hang on.
Yeah, that's... And the thing is as well... I don't know. I mean, one thing I'll say for sure is that if a swap ends up happening, Cassante is going to be in a much more chill position than Aurora.
He's a pretty chill guy.
They are going to spot the bot lane going top, and I want to see what they're going to do about it.
Well, right now, Kingen is just going to move towards Zeka in this mid lane, say hi to his former teammate. So, you still got the DRX jersey, man? How you feeling? Right now, Zeka is not too psyched because he wasn't expecting a 1v2.
Yeah, and they're just happy with a swap situation.
Well, they're going to give up the entire range of melee minions just to try and get Zeus out of the way. Ooh, okay, you'll take a flash for that
was very limit testing from both players. Zeus had the W, he's like, come on, hook me, and then Lehens didn't.
And he knows that Lehens goes for those. He goes for another one. As Jiu's going to try and get some autos in.
So the lower health of Zeus makes him a real threat to be dove. But Lehens is healing up the potions, but also if he gets low, that's a threat. Kingen has just decided, I'm going to be annoying.
Yeah, and it's working out. Peanut does spot him there.
Now this was interesting to see how they would navigate leaving the Aurora alone on the tower wasn't going to be ideal. So like, let's just go back to the old school triple lane.
Yeah. And without as much protection on the top side, can make things a little bit bothersome, as Delight is just being annoying here. Takes a buckler to the noggin. Okay, let's see whether Zeus can survive this one. The flash out from Lehens, and the fully charged up turret is a bit dangerous, but it should get a little bit less excited, and there it is. First blood going over to Jiu, and meanwhile, on the other side of the map, or in the middle of the map, there is a dead Ambessa. So, immediate first blood going over to Nongshim, but the answer is swift.
Yeah, and Zeus is going to TP back in, so he doesn't miss too much from this. And if you actually look at how the farm has played out, Viper's really far ahead in terms of CS compared to G.
Yeah.
Even with the kill, the gold is about even between them. So overall, I think the strategy that Nongshim had makes sense, but because Peanut got that gank off, it's kind of actually ended up with them being slightly favored. Nongshim does have the feat of strength though, so I guess...
Yeah, there's that.
There is that.
It was a full wave, I think, that we're seeing just get eliminated towards that top side. So that is a large reason why Viper is so far ahead. No teleport available for this guy. So let's have a look at this from Fisher again. All right, Peanut just flashed on top of him, got the Bramble Smash, and Zeka was able to finish it off.
Yeah, not really much to be done.
Yeah, sometimes you miss a Q and that kills him. That is kind of precisely what it looked like here on the bottom side of the map. Zeus He gets through the first salvo, but unfortunately there was another one prepared.
Yeah, I mean, they get the damage down. They're very patient with the timing, especially when you have 2 ranged damage dealers. That makes sense. But you see how low the tower damage is on Kingen on the redive, because it's longer now, the cooldown time, but they waited the full amount.
Yeah.
So really well played from Nongshim. Definitely been practicing those dives since the new season, and they're able to make that one pretty swift. Now, top side.
Yep, Hands will always go for that one, as Delight uses his steadfast presence, but isn't actually going to be able to win out on the trade just yet. Viper and Jiwoo trading blows just a little bit there, and Hands will have that hook back off cooldown, and he will be using it again.
Yeah, there's definitely some matchups where the Poppy just completely shuts down these engaged champions, but Nautilus is one where, like, even if you block, you know, the dash he gets from his Q, he can still just, like, auto you. So it's not as favorable as some of the others.
Yep. And Zeka doing the thing where you normally press Unbound Soul first, but he just does it without pressing the Unbound Soul button and just walks Fisher out of the lane.
Yeah, the early triple daggers, very annoying to deal with.
Yeah.
He has so much value from attack speed on, I mean, both Yasuo and Yone, but yeah, I mean, not sure 100% what the thought process was on the swap between Ambessa and Aurora. I mean, obviously Kingen's having a great time in this matchup right now, but it definitely feels like Fisher is struggling a little bit.
Might just be that Kingen is the better Aurora player, or Fisher is the better Ambessa player.
True.
Could be something like that. Comfort with the players.
Yeah, it could also be that, like, look, you know, I'm Ambessa, I'll still be useful. Just
yeah.
Dumpster Zeus, please.
All right, now doing okay is Kingen in the matchup. Not ahead by that much, to be perfectly honest, just a wave. But I think there is a wave heading towards Kingen. His teleport up and available, hasn't actually been back yet. So it does need to spend some of that money. As now you got Nongshim considering some grubs, as they do spawn right now. Zeka might make that a little bit more difficult here, as he unbinds the soul in a kind of awkward spot. But Peanut, happy Christmas, going to be moving over towards these grubs now to see whether they can deny that feat of strength, as Jiwoo going to get smashed into the wall, actually taking a lot of damage. Ignite coming down. No steadfast presence was available, but the flash in, and Delight is just going to solo kill him, basically. I think that was like 1 or 2 autos from Viper, and otherwise it was all the Poppy. Yeah,
pretty rough, and honestly, Jiwoo unfortunately uses both his sums. Delight really doesn't care about flashing. He has Hex Flash, you know, he just unlocked it.
Yeah, he actually, it's Poppy as well, like the ultimate Hex Flasher.
Yeah, Jiwoo just in a poor position there, and Gideon gets 2 grubs and gets out, so he's kind of okay with that situation. But yeah, it feels like they kind of caught sleeping by Delight there on this point.
Yes, straight up. It was a very weird kill, because it just was like Delight found a heroic charge, and then they were like, oh, but it's just Poppy, he'll be fine. Wasn't fine, actually.
Yeah, and now
kind of died.
20 CS lead between the 80 carries, which is a large amount this early. And it's fortunate that Nongshim got that first kill on the Jiwoo, because if they didn't, this would be even more dire.
Well, Peanut is, you know, you were saying even more dire. I think this fits the category as the Nature's Grasp comes through. Oh, unfortunately, they both get caught. It's pick your poison as far as who you want to take down, but Delight is dead as the turret is going to take him out. And now Peanut is going to get revenge, but the turret is also getting revenge. And so I guess, Jiwoo, welcome back to the game, my friend. Some extra money being thrown in there. If they were able to do that cleanly and grab both of those kills, then perhaps it was just going to be game over.
Just a massive fumble. Like, the fact that Peanut has level 6 and Jiwoo has no summoner spells, and even Jiwoo made the mistake of getting caught by the ultimate. Like, this should have been an easy dive for HLE. Let's kind of have a look at what went wrong. So Jiwoo obviously takes the route. That's not ideal. Viper has aggro first, and then Delight re-grabs aggro here.
Oh no, does he buckler Jiwoo at the end?
I even just ordered him. And then here, you know, Peanut was definitely planning to W to drop aggro. The thing is, Vipe had ult, so you could kind of do that at any time. Yeah. They just waited too long. That is just, honestly, both Delight and Peanut making large uncharacteristic errors that have slingshotted Jiwoo back in the game.
Yeah. And yeah, you can still see that Viper is ahead by like 500 or so gold, but that doesn't matter. Jiwoo just got like 3 kills. So, welcome back. Glad you can play the game.
Yeah, I mean,
so we've got 80 carries that are kind of even now.
If they'd played the dive correctly, it'd be over 1,000 gold lead, and the game might just be done.
Yeah.
So, you know, and an extra chance being given here. And then Jiwoo definitely a player who want to make the most of it. Now, they are looking for Kingen, but he does have just an absurd amount of wave clear. So very hard to do much with it. Lehens is toying with the idea of diving a Cassante.
I think he's just about to dive on Cassante. I think that's the Lehen's way. I think that is his permanent state of being. Just wanting to get a minion wave in here as Gideon going to move on over. Does see that ward, so Zeus with full information. Peanut nowhere in the vicinity. I think they're going to look for it. Bolt Breaker to come through as Kingen throws down the ulti just to try and clear out some minions, but Gideon just going to die. Kingen also going to die on the other side, as we can see here. And Zeus says, what the heck are you doing, bro?
Yeah, so I guess Nongshim just not prepared for the fact that Cassante can CC you for like 17 seconds and is really tanky.
And can mitigate all of your CC, yeah.
Yeah, new information that they've just learned.
If someone could get that Showmaker copy faster in the chat, that would be great.
Absolutely.
For Nongshim. I think and really need it.
This is kind of the thing as well, where like when you are playing in a swap situation, I know it's like a lot after the initial swap, but when you're weak-sided, it's very difficult to kind of do anything. Here, yeah, blocks the CC for the Q, zip, zap, zip, dead. You know, I also think Zeus...
It didn't even look that difficult.
Yeah, I mean, last year, even at Worlds a lot, Zeus was doing a fantastic job of playing dives against multiple people. But here, Kingen unfortunately uses all of his tools before anyone takes aggro, and then Pino just tanks a couple of tower shots and goes, there you go, Viper.
Yeah. And so Viper is going to even out the kill score between the 280 carries. He hasn't died himself, though, and an Essence Reaver has been completed. It's going to be a pretty scary Xayah moving into the mid-game.
Yeah, is now 1,000 gold up.
Yes, he's now finally got there. Some grubbies being considered here by Nongshim as well, as Peanut going to move on over. Does find the Nature's Grasp, but the public execution into that back line. Peanut pretty tanky though, and now Viper is there to deliver the damage. Lehens going down lower and lower, and Fisher is basically out of the fight. The double knockup from Zekka as he dives forward. He's going to find another one, actually giving a double kill over to Viper, who's on 5. Remember, this guy hasn't died all season. Well, actually, no, since his first matchup against Gen G, but since their last matchup, he hasn't died.
We forget about that first season. We forget about that one.
Yeah, the first game was not one that Harmon Life Esports fans want to remember, and we're going to continue keeping it that way to make them feel better about it.
You know what? I feel like this is a game of learning. We learned diving Cassante, bad idea.
And I learned that Harmon Life Esports had a match before their KT series.
Yes, and we also learned Zekka, somewhat good at Yone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, new information that we have just
really
discovered.
Cool.
Yeah, so that is a problem. It looks like the Ambessa didn't manage to shut him down really in lane.
Peanut and Lehens just having some fun. Of course, former teammates, as we know. Viper up here just in the face of 2 people hitting the turret. And they know that Peanut's there. Delight's going to move over. Yeah, they're going to kill the turret. Hook is going to connect onto Delight, and he cares about as little as possible. Just throws his shield into that thing and then moves away.
Yeah, this game is starting to feel really problematic for Nongshim. 4,000 gold deficit right now.
Yeah.
And half of that is between the 80 carries. And, you know...
2.2k.
Let's just amp it up. There's an extra...
exclaiming about the 1k, like, I feel 2.5 minutes ago.
There's an extra 400 gold right there. Yeah, so the replay, they focus a lot into the Maokai, not the optimal target. Ult comes through, which knocks away the Aurora, and then we see Delight stun Lehens. So already, Nongshim massively on the back foot. Bear in mind, this is a 4v5.
Oh, and that was a triple knockup. Yeah. He did get Fisher as well, so...
Yeah. So, I mean, Zekka just doing everything, but this is also a 4v5 from HLE, and it didn't look particularly close.
Yeah. Well, Peanut has 2 belts to hold up his very heavy pants. And Zekka is going to move on over and stop Kingen from taking down this turret. We're having a look at the feats of strength. Okay, we're not going to do that because we've got some tinsel on some brambles.
Oh.
Getting a flash from Kingen.
Flash is well needed, even the ult not enough to get out. So, I mean, I think Peanut's pretty happy with the value you got from the ult there.
Absolutely. Viper loses the minion wave.
Yeah, takes a tower hit, just, you know.
May as well.
He can take it.
Indeed. It's going to delay his Infinity Edge by 1 item, which I think is kind of fine. I like you eventually need the attack speed. A lot of the time you do see the Infinity Edge come in second after the Essence Reaver, but I kind of like this. Yeah, and Lehens moving on up, we'll be able to hold this wave before Ju does make it over here. So Gideon starting off this dragon will be the first objective to be fully taken, as of course we've got 3 grubs apiece, but it wasn't all in the same set of grubs. And Gideon is going to be able to secure this. So first dragon going over to Nongshim. All right, there's a positive for Nongshim.
Yeah, they got a dragon.
Just only look at that part of the scoreboard and you'll be feeling absolutely psyched.
Well, the thing is, you know, yes, there's a big gold lead, but if you just kind of cover over all of HLE, it's like, oh, they got Fierce Blood, they have some gold, they got some grubs, you know?
Yeah.
It's just relatively rough. I feel like that's one thing. On the scoreboard, we have this new thing that shows the goal difference between different roles. I don't think it's helping with this positive mindset.
No, I don't think so either, because it means that, like, because it used to be that the top side of the screen was where all the bad stuff was happening, and the bottom side, you can just ignore the other side, and it's fine. That teleport was actually hilarious as, okay, Zeka going hyper-aggressive, and there's Delight again! Gio able to get himself out of the way, but it's not good enough, and what the heck? This puppy is still going! Decides he doesn't even need to press his keep his verdict button, because the damage had already been done.
Yeah, Gio not having a good time. You know, got those extra kills earlier on, and that was kind of the highlight of the game right now, and it just feels like HLE are kind of bullying them.
Yeah, the fact that, like, you've got a 2-1 and 5 Poppy who is able to just run in with impunity and not die.
Yeah, who also went Zeke's, just like, I am the carry, you know? You look on the other side of the hands, it's like, oh, I'm going to shield my carry. The light is like, no, that's not how I play the game.
No, it's Zeke's time. Zeka is unbinding the soul, looking for an option here. Let's see whose ultimate's going to work out as he gets the knock-up.
It's just weird how much
didn't actually have it.
Cover with that.
Yeah. Blade of the Ruin King done, so the Yone is very frightening if he wasn't enough already. It's going to be out of turret secured by HLE. Peanut thought that he was needed, but he was actually kind of not. As he's going to pull out these Raptors, continue about his merry way as we check out the replay of Zeka just seeing what was up. As the ult doesn't find the target, but he had the Q charge.
I like how we get a drive-by TP as this happens. But yeah, Ignite just does the thing.
And like there was the locket, there was the ulti, didn't matter. Just didn't last long enough.
If the light wants you dead, you're going down.
Absolutely. That's apparently what it means. Well, Gideon looking for an opportunity here. I think Zeka smells something in the water. And it might just be that this turret is given up, although Zeka can unbind the soul, look to clear out the wave. And it's going to be a tough one. There's there's a cease and desist as the public execution comes through. The flash out from Zeka. Let's see whether... No, he's not going to stay alive. That is just a lot of commitment and a lot of damage as HLE looking to answer on the other side.
Yeah, a little bit overconfident. His ult came up literally 2 seconds after he died.
Oh, God.
So if he had that, maybe he could have gotten away. But yeah, the flash vial is really Gideon saying, I've had enough. I'm sick of your shenanigans. And they will be able to get a tower and an objective bounty out of this. Positives?
Yep, there is that. They did lose an inner turret on the top side of the map. So maybe that goes against the positives, but you don't need to look at that. You just look at this, and this is pretty good for Nongshim.
Yeah, I mean, there's a nice buffer, but then the follow-up from the Ambassador gives you struggle. And I think, you know, if you had ult, you get a flash ult. If you can see at the bottom of your screen, it just comes up at the end of that replay. So
not going to be an option.
Playing with fire a bit too much there.
Oh God, okay, so Viper,
and now
he's got his quick blades and his Infinity Edge is almost done. Just needs a cloak and a recipe completion.
You can tell the game's turning around because Gideon actually has a 26 gold bounty. We'll see when the scoreboard returns.
Oh man, that's actually, that's insane.
That's how you know Gideon's in control of the game.
That's like a whole minion.
Oh, it's up to 30.
Whoa!
30, 33, 34?
We're approaching cannon territory.
I'm investing in Gideon.
Oh yeah.
He's
that's Gideon to the moon.
Racking up the bounty right now.
In the meantime, Viper is 2.9 thousand gold ahead.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's like a full item. And we can see that it is almost a full item that he has completed.
I feel like it's so... Woo! Those drive-by teleports.
That's so fun.
I feel like it's... Peanut
is just having some fighting. The rest of the team not fighting. Hi Shelly, welcome. Didn't see you there, but she is going to be able to help take down that inner turret. And another one is going down on the bottom side of the map as Peanut could be... No, is he going to be in trouble? That's the question as Viper's going to come on over. There's the flash out. Cease and desist will kill him, but Gideon's going to go down as well, and now the fight has really broken out, and Nongshim want nothing more of this. But the flash forward comes in, and Zeus says, no. We are fighting. The all-out comes in, trades for the killer instinct, as Jiu's going to be able to try and do something here. Flashes. Oh, the Void Seek was almost enough, but another heroic charge is going to be the end of him as public execution, and somehow Zeus is still alive. Oh, get that. It needs to be back in the chat again. I know that we called for it before and it filled up the chat, but it has to come back again. This Cassante is doing some Cassante things.
He's just, I mean, the fact he flashes in, doesn't hit the knock-up, and then he just stays in, keeps going further and further. I think, you know what, I think watching this replay, because, I mean, Peanut's tanky, right? But Peanut dies. I think we should go into it and think, at what point should a normal champion die? So, I mean, this is fine. He's healthy. You know, he goes in, oh, misses, flash, unfortunate. Okay, a little bit aggressive. They're both hitting him. You know, perhaps now. I think he should have died there.
Yeah.
But then, wait. Perhaps now.
Yeah, perhaps now.
No?
Oh, God. Fisher couldn't do, like, he couldn't do any of his buttons because Zeus had another knockback. Oh, God. Okay, well, thanks, Cassante, for existing in the game. Understandable as to why it was first picked throughout the day, to be perfectly honest. It was in our previous series, also won that one in the hands of Morgan. It looks like Zeus is going to follow suit as far as the victories are concerned, because this game is sitting a little bit closer to a 7,000 gold lead than a 6. And HLE just one objective away from putting their feet on as well.
Lehen's just a long flank.
This is a very long flank.
He's just waiting. He's like, guys, I'm here.
I'm ready.
I'm going to
get two-shot by Viper, who has...
No. Give him more credit. He's going to...
Oh, he can get that blood pedal.
Yes.
He can get that blood pedal. That's value.
That's... Oh, the flank.
Oh, God, wait. Maybe
coming
it's
in.
Maybe it's working. It's a TP over the wall from King in Lehen's. He's turned up. I mean, Gideon's already dead. They dive in on top of Viper. A whole bunch of buttons are pressed, but he has the...
Oh, they stole it!
And he stole it! King and picks it up! And they managed to take down Viper there as well. The damage...
They're getting Cassante!
Oh, God, they're getting mega Cassante. But the Yone's dead, and the Cassante does finally actually die. And they don't really die themselves. So to keep his verdict, I think they're going to keep themselves alive. But man, Nongshim, the Noodles making their way back into the fight.
This is the difference between us and Lehen's, because we were talking about the blood pedals, right? He saw that coming.
Oh, yeah.
Right? This was the strategy from the start, but it's actually a good flank that comes in. If we look at how Lehen's plays it, the ult flashes on Viper for the immediate knockup. The follow-up comes in from the Ambessa, and even though Viper does eventually get his ult off, he's so low. And, I mean, I don't even...
Yeah, that just shouldn't have
happened. But the rest that happens is good team fighting from Nongshim. But it's clear that HLE are like, guys, they have the buff, we should get out. Zeus' ult runs out. I think that's a reason why he didn't keep Cassanteing.
But also, like, I mean, they should have got that at the Arakan, and then everything is so much better.
Everything is so much better.
For HLE.
But
Peanut just sometimes decides that a smite is just not worth hitting. He'd rather kill the champions, and that is precisely what they're going to look to do now as Bramble Smash pushes Lehen's under the turret. He is going to go back home. They're going to get some money for that one, as they send a couple back, in fact.
Yeah, so one thing we've talked about a fair amount with the Voracious Arakan is that when you have it, you can kind of just run it down and not be punished that hard. But the problem is, that is a very different statement from you should run it down. Okay? There's two different things.
Yeah.
If you can get away with it, that doesn't mean that the best use of your buff is just charge into the tower against Maokai Poppy and die.
And I want to make that clear. Okay, King throws down the ulti. There's a public execution as they get underneath the turret. That's another cease and desist, and Viper is on the floor once again. Zeus is also dead as Delight, the next one on the chopping block. As Fisher, he's just going to be sent home. The ulti comes forward from Zeka, but doesn't find the target, which was Gideon. He's going to jump onto Jiu, though, and he is going to be sent home. As Lance comes back, he really dies if he does go down. The anchor is going to be avoided. And Nongshim have brought this game back to within 2,000 gold.
I mean, they've gotten so much value out of this. You know, excusing that when Gideon and Lehen's went on the tower and just died, the gank after that, the play after that, sorry, killing Viper without the ult, and Fisher, who had a very underwhelming Ambessa game so far, he hit the ult on Viper at Arakan, and he hit the ult there, was on point with it.
That's all he needed.
And actually, I mean, I'm not sure, the overlay is showing him as having the ult, but I assume he didn't. I assume that's bugged, I mean, he would have pushed it. But either way, Viper goes down. It's hard to really trade in this situation. You've lost your AD carry who's very fed, and when you kill them, they just don't even really die. They do a good job, they'll look at the GU after, but it looks like we're going back to live. Now, it's a dragon apiece, and you've kept the gold. The gold is now close. It's a dragon apiece. The game is playable again, somehow.
Yeah. And if Viper continues to just keep dying to Nongshim having all of this targeted CC that is basically unanswerable if Lehens is going to like ult flash him, like if you get ult flashed and then public execution and then everything else in the kitchen sink, as Peanut's going to get engaged on one more time, getting confirmation that Viper did actually have the ultimate and just didn't manage to press it.
Oh, well, Viper did have ult, so that's just a uncharacteristic misplay for the player who didn't die in the last series against KT.
Yep.
Just didn't press his ult there, got caught off guard. So Nongshim, though, they're now actually doing damage. I think there's a significant change to Peanut, at least. I'm not sure how much they're going to do to Zeus when he presses ult, but
well, he did lose half of his health bar. And remember, whoever gets this next objective does get the feat.
He does that when he presses ult anyway, so is he really bothered?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think if he loses the other half, that's when he's got to be concerned. But
HLE are looking a little bit frightened about how this one's going, as there's the ulti forward, giving Fisher a bit of his own medicine as a twisted advance to lock him in place. There are the feats going over, but HLE have taken down the mid laner, and they're looking for a Baron now as an opportunity.
Yeah, very weird to hit 25 minutes Baron spawn, and that's when feats come through. But now down Fisher, no TP as well, so it's a long time before he can be here. HLE are starting the Baron.
Well, Viper's going to get hit by that one. Keeper's Verdict gets rid of Lehens, which is a large amount of their engage. I think staying on the Baron sounds like a good idea here for HLE, but they do back away.
I think
I
they
wasn't
could have done
expecting.
it.
Yeah, it was down so low.
Yeah,
they got rid of the engage.
Gideon couldn't be in smite range.
I think really, yeah, he already lost a smite ward to an Aurora, so maybe he just wanted full monopoly.
I think he didn't have smite actually, or did he just smite something there? Because I'm looking. You can see on the bottom left, it had him with one smite charge, so... I mean, it looks like he had it here, but maybe he used it on Ambessa. It's hard to see sometimes, the overlay. Yeah, he smited there, so he didn't have smite, so maybe he just didn't have smite for the Baron, and that's why he held it. Either way, definitely they didn't have the confidence to go for it in the end. Maybe we can get confirmation of that as well.
Yeah, we just need the replay to be inspected.
Did Peanut have smite when Baron was there, is what I'm looking to know.
Certainly some weird things going on here.
Yeah.
In this particular game.
Yeah.
Zeus, possibly... No, it's just Nautilus, so I don't know whether Nautilus and Aurora are going to be enough to take down this Cassante before he just makes his way out or kills them. As Ju stands on a control ward, he's going to be able to deliver another Void Seeker towards Viper. As now they'll start off the Baron, and it is extraordinarily low. Teleport available for Zeka. And HLE need to get in here. It's down to 50% health. Voidseeker this time is going to miss. And now the teleport's coming in.
It's
the
low.
Baron's extremely low as Delight goes in. It is going to be the Baron secured by Nongshim, but the ulti into the backline from Zeka might be the end of Gideon. No, Blast Cone is going to make sure that that one does not happen. And they'll keep a few of these Barons alive. And maybe, if you're Nongshim, you're just saying it's kind of worth. I mean, it's still 1,000 gold in the positive thus far after losing their bottom lane.
Yeah, Kingen has a lot of wave clear. The only real big wave that was there is bot lane, which Fisher is just picking up right now. So, not ideal, obviously. It would be nice not to lose your AD carry, but I think they're kind of okay. It depends what HLE can do here, because it looks like they're planning to take this mid inhibitor tower. I think if that goes down, you start to feel less okay.
I'm going to say that it's probably worth it for HLE at this point in time, as taking this inhibitor going to provide them with a whole lot of strength in this lead up towards the next dragon and the lead up towards the next Baron, in fact. It's going to take some time for that inhibitor to repair itself.
Yeah, not the end of the world. I feel like of all the inhibs to lose mid, definitely the least problematic. You know, you often have someone in the mid lane pushing the wave out anyway.
Yeah, true.
Get a replay of the situation. And I think Jiwoo is so focused on damaging the Baron. This stun comes in, he just gets CC chained. Gideon does a good job of securing the objective, but as soon as Jiwoo goes down, you know you have no chance of fighting this. The Baron recall...
You see Fisher was just leaving?
He's just out.
He's just out.
Yeah.
He's like, nah guys, we ain't gonna win this one.
You're on your own, buddy. I mean, the right call. Keep as many of these Baron buffs alive as possible. Ultimately, still a positive Baron power play you can see in the top left, but haven't really been able to make much happen. Those inner towers for HLE are still up and standing, and I'm not really sure Nongshim are going to find a way to punish them. So I think we're just looking at this next dragon in a minute 20 being the focus point.
And if HLE are the ones that take it down, then it's going to be 2 dragons apiece, which hasn't moved the needle much as well. So I think maybe it's next Baron that we're going to be considering. That should be the big one. But the Drake is going to be the next one that's up, so that might be where we do see another fight. And if Soul Point does come in, then that is definitely a lot of value. And you got triple evolve now for Jiu. He's now got his upgraded shoes as well, which feels pretty nice.
Yeah, when the pen has the pen boots as well, so a lot of magic penetration available there.
Yep. Void Seekers are already hurting, and it's going to be even worse.
They will be hurting a lot. Viper does have the GA, and it's starting to pick up some armor pen. I mean, there wasn't that much armor on the other side. Still want it. But going to be a much harder target to take out now that he has that res available.
Yeah, and I think just definitely needed that. He was certainly getting thrown into the washing machine over and over again. And probably just wants to not let that wombo combo be the death of him every single time. As Zeus here catching waves towards the top side. And Jiu's going to be able to push out this bottom side wave as well. So Nongshim even able to get onto the map to try and get some vision around this dragon that is now spawning, but everyone is not quite here. Fisher with teleport can certainly join. Let's see whether it is going to be Soul Point for Nongshim or whether HLE just going to be able to even out the dragons. There's another zooming teleport from the Ambessa.
Oh, here's another.
Yeah. Okay, in comes Zeus. And Gideon from over the wall. I think they know that it's a bit of a shaky peanut when it comes to the smites. So if Gideon can get in there and make them nervous, it could be a tough one. Oh! He just flashes in! They dive on top of the Xayah, who does go down to the GA pretty immediately. And now Fisher's in amongst it. Kingen trying to get out of there. The problem is, Viper comes back alive. And then they threw their kitchen sink, and Viper said, I don't mind. That's actually okay. We'll take the objective.
Yeah, the GA buy really paying off there.
Yeah, I would say that like this is where you should probably have a look at the inventories. I don't know whether they would have made the same play, as that buffer was kind of cute, but Lance is still going to die. Viper going to be able to take down his ex-Griffin teammate on the bottom side of the map, and yeah, HLE just continue about their business.
I mean, it was played so well by Gideon, it's kind of the frustrating thing, but
yeah,
it's counteracted by that single item, which makes it hard to bounce back. So goes for the flash ult, so Viper has no time to react, and the CC follow-up is there. And then Jiu is kind of forced to flash away from Zaka, who just rebinds his soul.
And the Keeper's Verdict hits too.
Yeah, and I think that Jiu will be out the fight, the Keeper's Verdict hitting, it meant they just weren't really in position to follow up, despite the good initial play. And I kind of think it's showing some of the issues with Nongshim's composition into HLE. Like, they have to kill Viper, really, for them to win, especially now he's full build. But there's a lot of things that make it difficult. You know, the fact he's a Xayah, the fact you have your Maokai, your Poppy, the threat of the Yone. And you can definitely see how, even with some excellent engages like that, it can still not be an ideal fight.
Yep. And Viper is now at 350 CS here at 32 minutes, which is almost a Flame Horizon. Has 6 items. And so the Xayah is kind of like, it's just ticks, you know, in the boxes. Outside of using the ult in that previous fight, but I don't think we're worried about that too much.
No one's that tanky on Nongshim, so Viper will just shred everyone so quickly.
Everyone is just probably going to die. And Peanut's got a Rooken, he's not really too worried about what Kingen's doing. And you can see that Zeus, he also has one, and he is also not too bothered by anything at all. So the Baron's going to be up in 25 seconds time, and I think HLE should be a little bit more confident in their ability to stick around this time.
Yeah, I will say though, I think Nongshim need to be... Oh, Gideon.
Oh, dear.
Don't want this 1v1.
This is not what he wanted. He wanted to be, yeah, a little bit more stealthy. Doesn't quite work out here. Zeka does need to kill him before his soul rebinds, and that is not going to happen. So
he's out, but ult down.
Yeah, out.
Be a bit frustrating, and he kind of has to make his way towards Baron, which is up. I will say, GA is down, so this is kind of what Nongshim do want to play around the fact that Viper doesn't have that, but without Vild.
Yeah, then what's the point? That's a bit of a dangerous one, as, yep, there's the Keeper's Verdict from the Shadows, and Kingen's now out of the fight. That is going to be a free Baron, because they also had the Nature's Grasp just to make sure that no one could get in.
You know, I'm just not really sure what Gideon was doing there. Specifically, you were kind of isolated, you're kind of alone.
It was a pull bay flank. It felt like a pull bay flank.
Yeah, a little bit.
Not on the right champion, but it was certainly it was a deep covert ops mission.
Yeah, and now HLE with the Baron. you know, they have taken down all structures outside of Nongshim's base. A little bit tricky to crack. I mean, they're obviously already taken that inhib tower mid, but looks like they're trying to immediately set the pace here and protect this wave. TP from Zaya specifically, I guess, just to make sure it's the pressure. It's only some casters, so...
Viper also sold his GA because it was on cooldown and built an arm guard, so that now he has another way to mitigate. Outside of just being able to use his ultimate, now has that other way of doing so. So if that kitchen sink is thrown, then he just spams the arm guard button. And when he comes back out, does have that Featherstorm to continue doing damage, has that mobility and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, he knows that in this game, the Vi is pressing R on him.
Yes.
You can make it as undesirable as possible for the Vi, but there's still just not really a better target unless Zeka massively misplays all his mobility.
This turret is very dead.
Yeah, they're going for the long flank here.
Can they do that before the Nexus explodes? That's the big question, as even HLE a bit confused about where Gideon is as he walks over the wards now. All right, charging up that Vault Breaker. Will be able to get in, but Delight just says, no, my friend, that is not going to happen. The ulti through from Zeka there as well. Blastcone's kind of frustrating as now everyone's piling in. Viper goes golden, but he's in amongst so many bad guys, gets a big shield, and he has already ulted, but he kills 2 of them on his way out. It's Lehens that poetically gets the kill, but it is still the end of the game as HLE will march down this bottom lane and look to take down the turrets.
You know, the miracle Atakan steal kept them in the game, but Nongshim just can't do enough. The peel available to HLE, they shut down the flank attempt from Gideon, and even though Viper does go down in the end, enough damage is done, and HLE will claim their first Nexus of the series.
Yep. You can see that, you know, the spirits were not too down on the side of Nongshim. Kingen having a bit of a giggle here. I think they knew that they were gifted another chance in this game. Didn't quite get there. Viper was, yeah, pretty absurdly powerful in that particular game. And once he figured out the right items to build, the things to have in that inventory, it was kind of all over here for Nongshim.